Okay, so we're doing the second, or the next part of it, which is actually making the provisional. So here are some of the materials you have. Of course you need your Type-It-On, you need your prep. I'm using the red one because I don't have a prep right now. You need to have your matrix done. And I know a lot of people are thinking about using other people's matrices, but the thing is, each Type-It-On is a little different, and you build it up a little different, and the contacts are going to be a little different. So I strongly suggest you just take the time and make your own matrix. Make your own tooth and make your own matrix, okay? Then you need the acrylic, you need soap, and I just use straight up soap, no water or anything. You need your burr kits. You might need these if you're gonna do nylon. I have the hemostat and the scissors. I usually have Explorer somewhere. Okay, Explorer. And then I have floss to check contact. I have the Miller forceps to check occlusion, and then the Acryluster to finish polishing. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to lubricate. And keep in mind that I'm doing this out of the head, and you're doing this all in the head. I'm doing it out of the head so I can show you how to do it, and it's a lot easier for me to show you. So you take soap, and you want to brush everything. So brush the tooth, brush the gums. Don't glob it on, just like nice thin layer of soap all the way around the tooth, okay, on the gums, and anywhere you think that the acrylic will touch, okay. So I might do a little bit of 19, all of this right here, and the inside, okay, and of course the canine. Okay, so next we are going to mix the acrylic. So you need 2 of these, okay, and I will show you why. Okay, so first thing you're going to do is get a nice amount of acrylic, a nice amount of monomer. So I fill the top part of this up, maybe about 1/3 or 1/4, okay, with the monomer. And this is going to be a little different. This is not mine, but this is a way of doing it, and it's different because this way you don't get as much shrinkage. So now you're going to add the polymer, and you're going to add just enough so when you mix it, the consistency you get is like icing. Like, you know, in the freezer aisle you get those cinnamon rolls with the icing pack? You want that kind of consistency. Oh my god, I'm missing. So just add and slowly add until you get that kind of consistency. So it's kind of sort of getting there, right? So I'm just gonna keep mixing so that the monomer can kind of evaporate. If it's still too liquidy, I'll add like a little more. So it's getting there. You can start seeing the formation of the icing texture. Do you see it? It's getting there. Okay, come on. I'm going to keep mixing so that the monomer evaporates a little. And here's the icing consistency that you want, right? So once you get this, we are going to take another bowl, another dappen dish, and cover it. So when you cover it, you're not allowing the monomer to evaporate. Okay, so the monomer doesn't evaporate, but the polymerization process is still going on. So we're going to let that go, and you want to let it go for, I don't know what the timing is, but keep on checking on it. The top right now is very, very shiny. Can you see that? It's very shiny. So what it's going to look like when it's done, when it's, you know, ready to work with, is going to be frosty, like frosted glass, like on the display windows you have that glass, that fake snow on the glass, and that's what you want it to look like. So maybe like a minute and a half. So you can keep checking, see how it's still shiny. Still shiny. If you're running short on time, like you're at the end of the practical, you can also use the syringe and blow away some of the monomer, help it evaporate. So I'm going to show you what it does. So just very gently, do you see how all of a sudden it got frosted over? Right? So this is the consistency you want it at. But I'm going to let it, so I'm going to start going like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add water. Okay? Water does not mix with acrylic, so don't worry. But you're going to start taking it and going like this. And see how it's coming off? The water is going to help it separate from the bowl. Okay? So keep on doing this. You can add more water if you need it to separate some more. Don't worry, water does not mix with acrylic, so it's going to come off. Okay? So I'm going to keep going. I'm going to pour out some of that water because that's too much. And I'm going to keep going until everything comes off the edges. Okay? So if you need to add a little more water. Ah, I've sprayed myself. Very important. Put your mask and your goggles on, okay? So you can keep doing this, and look, it's going to come right off, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to stick this into our matrix, right? And I'm going to push it all the way down because I want to make sure that it's seated all the way down. I'm going to take my plastic instrument and I'm going to take away all the extra, okay? And put that to the side because that's going to help you gauge when you can start playing with your acrylic. So I want to take it pretty much to the margin, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to seat this, remember to have it fully lubricated, and seat this, okay? So I'm going to set it on, check in the front, make sure it's seated all the way on the canine, and check in the back, and this, since this is the back of the patient's head, use a mirror, back of the patient's mouth, I'm sorry, use a mirror to check to make sure it's fully seated, because if it's not fully seated, it's going to be off. So you're just going to hold it for probably 1.5 minutes. Okay, and you want it to be like a little harder, so that way when you pull it off, it's not going to distort. So I will come back in about 1.5 minutes or so. Okay, so now I've waited, and do you see this piece? I push it and it bounces back. Well, it's not doing it for me, but I push it and it bounces back. So that's when you know it's kind of ready. So you're gonna take this off, right? And here's your acrylic Interim, and then you have all this extra, so clean up all this extra. Okay. So sometimes it goes like in between the tooth and the gums. Just like peel that, all of it off, clean it all up. Okay, and then seat this back on. Be really careful though that you seat it nicely, or else if you like catch the side of it, then you might distort it. So be careful and seat it, and seat it again. Seat it for 30 seconds. Okay, you can't see my screen. 30 seconds, and then take it off for 3 seconds, because what's happening is it's starting to polymerize in the final stages, and it's going to get hot. And if you leave it on, it'll burn the patient's pulp, and then that's not good. So seat it for 30 seconds, take it off for a couple, okay, and then seat it back on for 30 seconds. And you do this until it's pretty hard. So you have your little balls out here, and you can, until it's like almost all set, okay? So we're going to do that, and I'll come back when it's all set.